We set up these grand visions of what love should, what it should look like, what it should smell like, what it should taste like. We've convinced ourselves that real love announces itself as though it was some sort of Broadway opening number with a full orchestra, spotlights here, maybe some pyrotechnics over there, just enough to singe your eyebrows. Hey y'all, welcome back to the Every Shade podcast. Chanchua Nina Ka. That's Thai for my name is Nina. And Thai because I've just come back from a wonderful trip to Thailand, and on the flight back, which is why I'm ranting this specific rant, I overheard a conversation that has lingered with me now for a couple of days, and that is saying a lot. So, first woman says to the other woman, "Do you love him?" Ooh. The other woman says back to the first woman, "Yes." She pauses, and then she says, "No." My ears perk up immediately. These are some of the perks of flying economy. As much as I detest sharing one toilet with 67 people whose habits really range from wiping everything down to wiping nothing down, and I mean nothing at all, you get these random bits of conversation that are just so juicy, juicy, because of the close quarters. And this got me going for the whole flight. And this is what you miss when you have your AirPods in all the time. Slight segue. Why are people continuously wearing their AirPods? Like they're wearing them all the time. You're not listening to music. You're not on a call and they're in there. You're talking to me and they're in there. You come to lunch and they're in there. Are you reducing the sound of life? Are you trying to noise cancel life just so you can survive it? But that's like a rant for clearly another day. Back to the love conversation, right? The thing that intrigues me is the pause. She says yes, she pauses, and she says no. And that took me down a massive rabbit hole because why the pause? What is the additional information that she's considering after her first response, the yes, that makes her change her mind? How does she go from yes to no in one moment? How can't you be sure that you love someone? And I'm running through the options in my head, right? Because obviously, there are no movies on an economy flight. What would justify the pause? Right? And the only thing I eventually arrive at that sits well with my brains is this. The first time she answers, she just answers because she's answered so many times before. And the pause is to see if she actually understood the question. You know, when we say things because we're so used to saying them, I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you, like this nonsense, yeah? This is my theory. In that space between yes and no, she changes her mind, not on the answer, but on the question, the meaning of the question. It sounds mad, but stick with me. I have a point in there, I think. She doesn't just decide that she doesn't love him. She decides that she was answering the wrong question. So in the pause, she's reassessing her understanding of the word love. And by changing the definition, she changes her answer. Oh, there you go. She changes the question, her understanding of the question, ergo, her answer obviously changes. And I wish we could all do that. Not to not to stop loving someone, but to start understanding the real meaning of the word love, not the used car salesman's version that we've been pandering around with now, but the real thing. If we can still remember, God help us. For a myriad of reasons, who knows what now, most of us no longer, or sadly, never have had a proper appreciation for the word. We've economized it to the point that it largely means nothing now. And so when someone says it, well, it's easy to believe it within the context because it means so little. We don't hold it up to any form of scrutiny. I love you. Of course you do. It means nothing. We've dulled love down into tiny little digestible bits because real love, the kind that requires you to truly be selfless, the kind that demands of you and gives even more, the kind that takes you to new extents of yourself, that makes you capable of some of the most wonderful things, real love, well, it's just too much to bear. It's too much. The terrifying demand of real love. Real authentic love requires a selfishness and a growth that we are too scared, too chicken shit, too tired, too selfish, too busy, too preoccupied, and everything else to sustain. Argue with your gardener, but for me, the best definition of love still comes from the Bible. And I'm going to do some terrible paraphrasing here, so forgive me. But it goes like this. Love is patient. Love is kind. It's not proud. It's not boastful. It's not self-seeking. And it doesn't get pissed off easily. It doesn't keep a record of all the crap you've done wrong. It doesn't go, you did this wrong on Monday. You did this wrong on Tuesday. And here's the 7 things you're going to do wrong on Wednesday because you're a wrungin'. And love protects. It's trusting. And I think it ends like this. It says, love never fails. And that sweet pea, that right there is just too much, right? And because it is way too much, because because it feels like way too much. We've made a few tweaks to love so we can stand it, so we can still aspire to it, to attain it, to hope to have it from another human being in this life. We've made it lust. We've made it small glances over a steamy cup of coffee. We've made it reality TV shows, t-shirts with slogans, bumper stickers, fridge magnets. We've made love tolerable because the real thing demands us to be better. It demands us to stop making excuses and be the better, the more that we've always said that we wanted to be. Real love, the good stuff, the good, juicy stuff. Well, it's too much to bear. So we stick it on cups, we turn it into emojis and dancing memes, we dumb it down, heck, we dull it down so we can say it. Because if we said it and actually it meant the real thing, well, that would be too much and we would be frauds. So we make it small so we can say it and not be liars and not be hypocrites. So we can mutter it at the end of phone calls to people that we are secretly rolling our eyes at. So we can hug it out at Christmas with a relative that you are praying to God you do not have to see for another 365 days. So you can explain why it was really so easy to let go of that person you loved for 5 years. Like with everything else, we've made a microwave version of love to fit into these Lego pieces of our lives. Because who can wait 4 hours for a home-cooked meal in 2025? Love is now a downsized, pocket-sized commodity. We've shrunk what was supposed to otherwise be an expansive force into bite-sized performative gestures. Think about it. What is it now? It's emojis, slogans, obligatory love yous, love yous, and these heart shapes that we keep doing with our hands that mean absolutely squat. And it's a shame because real love, the kind that you are sick to your stomach for, the kind that makes you want to be better for this person, dang. That makes you want to walk through snow, endure the smell of the Northern Line train, and pay 20 quid for congestion charge without even blinking. The kind that makes you laugh until you stop and God help you, you can't even remember what you were laughing at. The kind that makes you want to give more than you have, that makes you want to reach your arms out longer than you could probably reach. The kind that is always open, always available, always a cup of tea and a jar of whiskey, just always listening, always kind, always forgiving, always love. Well, it's just too much. It's too much. So we take the counterfeit, the plastic fruit version, the gelatinous version, whatever it is, we lace it with some sugar and some crack so we can tell ourselves that the rush is love. The rush is nothing. The rush you're calling love, that's biology, honey. That's your hypothalamus writing checks your heart can't cash. Or worse, it's a heart condition. We've basically made it a Pop-Tart. Substantial pastry on the outside, sugar, gingivitis, and diabetes on the inside, but at least it's ready in seconds. But it's not love. Real love pauses you. It humbles you because sometimes you feel like you're not enough, not up to the task. And so we take our faux love and our faux lives and we make it pretty for the gram. We've adopted this counterfeit intimacy as survival. We've accepted plastic versions because the real thing exposes our inadequacy, our hypocrisy. And if we're not doing that, we're coming up with a Hollywood production version of love, just so that we can quickly backtrack out of the thing the second we can, and we're justified in leaving because, oh my God, it didn't match up to, the Hollywood production. We set up these grand visions of what love should, what it should look like, what it should smell like, what it should taste like. We've convinced ourselves that real love announces itself as though it was some sort of Broadway opening number with a full orchestra, spotlights here, maybe some pyrotechnics over there, just enough to singe your eyebrows. And then if it doesn't, this thing you're in, if it doesn't feel like fire, if you don't feel the rush, if you don't hear music when they walk into the room, if everything doesn't immediately go into slow motion when your eyes lock, if you don't feel electricity when you touch, well, clearly, this person is not the one. They couldn't be, right? I feel no butterflies. You are not the one. I feel no spark. You can't be the one. I didn't have a moment. We didn't have a moment. You are clearly not the one. Real love, the kind that Nina, that's me referring to myself in the third person. Okay, all right. The kind that I'm talking about. Real love doesn't always perform on first dates. It doesn't even know it's being auditioned. It's not one thing. It's never one thing. It's a series of beautiful little things. Ooh, For me, real love is like, it's the ember, it's that thing you're blowing on for weeks, months, carefully, patiently, wondering if you're wasting your time, sometimes really feeling like you're wasting your time. It's noticing how they remember your coffee order after one mention, how they text to see if you got home safe, even if you are a grown-ass woman living in probably the safest place in the world, lowest crime rate and all. It's the way they remember like 2 weeks later and they're laughing at something you said because they finally realize just how crazy you are. The ember may not give you heart palpitations, but it may give you like a steadiness. It may give you safety, a platform, something sturdy that allows you to just be. It may not be giving blazing inferno. It may be giving a slow warmth, that builds until one random Tuesday morning you realize you'd actually walk through fire for this person, and you can't pinpoint the moment it happened, the exact moment that it caught you, but you know it did. And the problem with real love in 2025 is this: it doesn't screenshot well. It doesn't make for a good story at brunch. Well, Gary, I don't know why I'm doing that voice. Well, Gary, how did you know she was the one? Oh, well, we had a perfectly pleasant coffee and then 3 months of incremental emotional intimacy, sharing deep, meaningful stories, a strong realization of shared values, a willingness to manage and address conflict, vulnerability, and maturity. That's how I knew she was the one. I don't know why Gary sounds so sexy. We want to tell our friends about love at first sight, not love at 300 sights, each one lasting deeper than the next, or deeper than the last, sorry. Love by 1,000 cuts. And so what do? We swipe and we swipe and then we swipe some more and we go to the person that made us feel just comfortable, safe, because comfortable feels like settling, doesn't it? Oh, he's just too safe, too normal, too, just there. And then in walks the guy who is going to steal your car, damage your credit, and leave a heck of an emotional trauma trail. And you're like, yes. That's the energy. That's what's missing, the intensity. Honey, that's insanity. We've been sold this idea that the one is going to feel like a car crash. It's going to be disorienting, adrenaline soaked, impossible to ignore. Oh my God, where did I leave my keys? And what time is it? Because we've talked till sunrise and I've got to get to work and all this foolishness. Nobody warned you. Nobody warned me that the one might actually just feel like coming home after a shitty day at work where you achieved little and had even less impact than the day before, that it might actually feel like the opposite of the chaos that we've been calling passion, that we've been trained like goats to call passion. And the TikTokification of everything, the swiping, has made it so easy to diminish human interaction into just that swipe. So you swipe on the app and you swipe on people in real life. You don't remember them, they don't remember you. Shoop, shoop. Wait, that's the sound it makes. And then when you go the other way, it goes ka-ching, ka-ching. This is clearly just my own app. Shoop, ka-ching, shoop, ka-ching. Can somebody put this in place? You swipe on anyone who appears not to deliver the intensity that you've been led to demand. And even when a person does show up with some level of intensity, we immediately say, oh my God, that's just too much. Oh, it's the wrong kind of intensity. Or the pacing is wrong. It's just too much, too fast. As though love can be set to a clock. And here's the tragedy. The embers will outlast the fireworks every single time. That spark you're chasing, the one that goes up at 12 and is done by 12:01, it's got a half-life of about 6 months, a year if you're lucky. Then what? Really, then what? You're standing in a poorly wallpapered kitchen with the wrong colored tiles, arguing about whose turn it is to take out the recycling. Do we even still recycle? There's no orchestra, there's no spotlight, there's no pyros, no lightning, no rush, just the slow work of choosing each other when it doesn't feel exciting all the time anymore. And that's the difference between the fireworks people and the ember people. The ember people, well, they're building a bonfire, right? They're stockpiling kindling and wood, like doomsday prepper type of stuff. And they're doing that through those boring, non-sparky early dates. They've been learning how to tend the flame and how to keep it going, even when the wind picks up. But we don't want to tend. We want to consume, and we want it fast. We want to burn. Raging inferno. He makes me feel it. We want the kind of love that requires us to do nothing but to feel things. I just want to feel stuff. I want to feel my feelings. And so we trade slow burn devotion for dopamine hits. We mistake novelty for depth and meaning. And so you end up alone at midnight, thumb cramping from swiping, wondering why everyone we meet feels so disposable. Real love doesn't always respect all of your boundaries, and not in a toxic way. So calm down, calm down, but in a way where a great adventure doesn't respect your comfort zone. It asks you to expand, to stretch, to go down paths you may not have taken before, to do something a little different, heck, maybe a lot different, something that you didn't see on the gram. to be more than you thought you could be right now. Maybe, and stay with me here, maybe the person that you had a perfectly fine coffee with deserves a second date, a fifth date, a 50th. Maybe the ember sitting across from you, the one that doesn't make your heart race, is exactly the one that will be keeping you warm for the next 40 years. I don't know. But that would require patience and faith and the terrifying possibility that love isn't something you feel. It's something you build, one log at a time, until one day you realize you're standing in front of a raging inferno that you created together, and you can't remember what you ever saw in those sparklers you used to chase. And I guess the assignment is to consider this. If real love isn't something that you've seen around you, not on the apps, not in your parents, not in your friends, how the heck do you know what you're looking for? How to build it if you haven't even seen it? Let's hypothesize, because we can, right? Maybe real love looks like having the hard conversation instead of the easy exit. Maybe it's putting someone else's need ahead of yours again and again. Maybe it's taking off the cape and realizing that they actually like Clark more than they do Superman. Maybe it looks like letting someone see you unwashed, crying, snotty, and at your absolute worst, and trusting that they won't leave. And my good God, that's terrifying. I know it is, because that's the reason we dull love down in the first place, because it's frightening. Because what if you show up and they don't? What if you offer all of yourself and the real L, the big L, and they take it and they leave anyway? What if you blow on that ember for months and months and it never actually catches fire and you've wasted all that time? What if there was someone in your past that you could have done the work with, and now you're sitting across from someone who won't even compromise on the thermostat? What if there is someone in your present right now who is all about the embers, all about the build, all about going the distance, but you can't see them because you're too busy dancing around the fireworks person who will fizzle out in about 3, 2, 1, leaving you to forward their mail and take care of their sick cat? What if? And I've given myself too much to think about. So I guess my encouragement to myself today is, no matter which way you slice it, an oven-baked turkey with all the stuffings and trimmings will always be the ready meal. Until next time, it's every shade. Okie dokie.